Hi everybody, welcome to the Scott Show NCAA Top 25. Now, I incidentally did not look at the Top 25 before, so I want to be a little shocked. However, I kind of know where it's at. I don't know where the middle is, so I thought it'd be cool. So we're going to go with others receiving votes first. The Tulane Green Wave, 5-2 on the season, got one vote. So big time shout out for those guys. The University of Central Florida at 5-2 got 3 votes. Texas A&M got 6 votes. Navy with 9 votes. Maybe we'll see them on the top 25 sooner or later at 5-1. Virginia gets 29 votes at 5-2. They were undefeated for a while there, but things happen. And the San Diego State Aztecs, I gotta give them a big time shout out. 17 votes for them, 6-1 on the season. Let's hope we see them in the top 25. A big San Diego State fan. Go Aztecs. I'm a fan of a lot of really good teams. A lot of the good sports, so I'm always going to give a shout out to the teams that really have made it. So this is the rankings for, and it was updated on the 20th, and today is the 24th, so welcome to the show. Wake Forest at number 25, 6-1. Hey, they call Alabama the Crimson Tide, they call them Deacon Blues, but they're not calling the Blues this time. 6-1 on the season. Wake Forest is going to a bowl. You got to recognize that if you get 6 wins on your season, you're bowl eligible. So I'm going to give a big time shout out to Wake Forest, the Demon Deacons, 6-1 on the season, and ready to rock and roll into the bowl time. And then we have Arizona State 5-2 at number 24. They got UCLA this weekend, this Saturday. They have UCLA. Iowa State 23 in the nation. They got Oklahoma State this weekend. Boise State has a week off. They're at number 22, 6-1. Appalachian State 6-0. They're jumping the line. They got South Alabama this upcoming week. Iowa 5-2 has Northwestern. Michigan 5-2 has Notre Dame. That's 20-19 respectively. Cincinnati, the Bearcats are doing better than the Bengals. They are 6-1 on the season. They got East Carolina. Minnesota going to be at home this week. They have Maryland, the University of Maryland against the University of Minnesota. Minnesota's up 3. They are 17th in the nation at 7-0. So big time shout out to the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. All right, we got SMU, the Mustangs at 7-0 as well. They will be playing Houston. Actually, I believe they play Houston tonight. So that will be a hell of a game. Texas 5-2, have not moved anywhere on here. Baylor at number 14, they're undefeated too. There's a lot of great undefeated teams. Minnesota, SMU, Baylor, and they got West Virginia. Wisconsin at 6-1, they got Ohio State this weekend. Good luck to them. Number 13 in the poll. Utah 6-1 has California. Oregon has Oregon, however you want to say it. They didn't go anywhere, so it's Oregon. They are number 11 in the nation. They got Washington State this weekend. Georgia and Florida. That's going to be a little bit of river rivalry. Next week, that is next Saturday the 2nd. Georgia and Florida, number 7 and number 10 in the nation, respectively. Auburn at number 9 has LSU, so that's 9-2. So that'll be a hell of a game. It is this weekend, 3:30, and it's Auburn and LSU. So check that out. Then, like I said, we have Florida and Georgia. We have Penn State at number 6 against Michigan State this weekend. Oklahoma against Kansas State. Oklahoma at number 5. Clemson at number 4. They got Boston College, the Eagles, this week. They also have 9 first-place votes on the season. Ohio State has 13 votes at number 3. They got Wisconsin, as I said. LSU, again, as I said, they got Auburn this weekend. That's 2-9. So LSU at number 2. 13 votes for Ohio State, 16 votes for LSU. That's your 2 and 3 respectively. And then number 1, as I said, they call Alabama the Crimson Tide. And I guess Deacon Blues, they might have some of those too, but Alabama at number 1 on the season. They play Arkansas this weekend, 7 o'clock, and it is at the Bryant-Denny Stadium in Alabama. Now, let's get to the meat of the matter. So we've done the top 25. Now we got to break down what the college playoff is going to look like. So if the college playoff ended right now today, you would have Alabama, LSU, Ohio State, and Clemson in your top 20 or in your top 4. If you did it the way that it is set up right now, Alabama and Clemson would be playing in the one bowl, while LSU and Ohio State playing the other one. The winners of those would play for the national championship. Now, I'm not a fan of that. I'm really not a fan of that. 4 teams. You got many undefeated teams: Penn State, Oklahoma, Minnesota, SMU. You got all of those teams just sitting out, waiting for something to happen. So I'm going to break it down a little further and give you guys the top 8 to see where we would be. However, I want to add in this little caveat that I would only allow 2 teams from each conference to be able to be in the top 8. I guess 3 teams would be able to get into the top 16, but that would just get way too messy here right now, and we'll just try to go with top 8. So your number 1 would be Alabama, and LSU, Ohio State, Clemson. That would not change. We would add in Oklahoma at number 5, which, based on that right now, it would be Oklahoma and Clemson at 5 and 4. Then Penn State would come in at number 6, because that would be the second Big Ten team. They would actually play Big Ten Ohio State. So it would be a Big Ten playoff round, which would be weird. But then it gets a little ridiculous. So you have the top 6 so far. So you want to add in the next one, but that's Florida. And they're in the same conference as LSU and Alabama. Then you'd add in Notre Dame. So Notre Dame would take over that number 7 spot and face off against LSU. So you'd have Notre Dame and LSU for there. Then you have Auburn and Georgia, who are they're in the same conference as Alabama, LSU, and Florida. So you got 5 teams in the top 10. So you'd have to go down further in the list, and Oregon would be the last pick. At number 11, they would be the team that would get in just out of the line, and they would be playing the number 1 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, if you were to do 16, and I'm not going to go all the way to do 16, but to give you an idea, if there was only 3 teams in there, Alabama, LSU, and Florida would get in, but not Auburn and Georgia. And then you go further down the list, and Wisconsin would get in, but not Minnesota. So you'd have an undefeated team not getting in, and they're number 17, so they're right off of the cuff there. Also, Michigan wouldn't get in either, so that would make it even worse. You have Baylor and Texas who would get in, and Oklahoma, but it would just be a mess. So that is the way that it would look. Even if there were 4 teams that went in, Minnesota would still would get in then, because there would be 5 in the conference with Alabama. So we've got lots of college football yet to go. We got great games coming up, including Wisconsin and Ohio State, Auburn and LSU. We got the Michigan State and Penn State game. Michigan State has always been playing the wild card on that. So I'm going to give a shout out to all of those teams. Hopefully you have a great football day, and we'll see you guys here very soon on The Scott Show Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you here soon. Check out all the other podcasts. We got lots of really cool ones, and have fun.